name's Frank with Neighborhood Game Club. I'm here at PAX South with one of the creators of Nuclear Throne. Who are you, sir, and what's your role in this game?
I'm Rami Ismail. I'm one half of Dutch Independent Studio of Vlambeer, and I'm the producer slash programmer slash marketeer slash like a small indie studio.
Yeah,
I'm part of the development.
Great. How many people were on the team of Nuclear Throne?
It was six. So it was me, the co-founder, and then we had a musician, a sound designer, an artist, and somebody who did like promotional art. It was a really cool team. They're from all over the world. It was such a pleasure to work with all of them.
That's right. So I played Nuclear Throne on the PS4 release last year. I spent maybe like 10 hours into it. Really, really fun, but also really, really hard. But yeah, I want to talk to you about your game. So I know with Nuclear Throne, that was on early access several years ago, right? Can you talk about that process?
Yeah, so it originally started as a Mojam Humble Bundle game.
Oh, wow.
As a charity jam, and it was made in like 2 hours. And we were working on a different game called Luftraus back in the day, but every weekend we would just go back and like add a bunch of weapons to that prototype. So at some point we were like, you know what, we're going to make this a real project. We decided to put it on early access. It's a roguelike, so you can play it infinitely, and we could just add content and see how people react to it. So what we did is every Tuesday, Thursday, we would live stream our development, like actually how we make the game, not like a nice documentary, but like smashing our faces into keyboards, like being really upset.
Would you take recommendations from like the comments, or like how would those live stream developments affect the actual development?
Well, what was really fun was we would listen to what people would say, but definitely the choice was with us. We wouldn't say like, okay, anybody come up with an idea, we'll do that. But if somebody said like, how about laser weapons? We'd go like, yeah, like let's see what that does, and then sort of explain like how game development works, how you make certain choices, why you don't make certain choices. So it was really fun, and every Saturday we would update the build on Steam so people could just play what was added that week. It was super fun.
Was that the first time you used early access to launch a game, or was Left Browsers like that too?
No, it was the first time we ever did early access. It was a lot of learning. We made a lot of mistakes. We learned a whole bunch of stuff. There were some hilarious like miscommunications.
Yeah. So for any like wannabe indie developers, would you recommend launch your game on early access, or wait till you have a solid build? Because I know there's definitely some pluses and negatives with that too.
I think if you can play a game and you can really feel what it's about, then it's fine to go on early access. But really with early access, your main consideration is, does it fit early access? Like a story game, you don't put that on early access. But like a roguelike where you just add content more than that, you add story or add like whatever, that works. So it has to be a game that fits, and then you have to commit to it. You can't just drop it.
And then also real fast for people who don't know Nuclear Throne, can you explain it real fast what it is?
Yeah, it's a top-down roguelike. It's an action game. It's a lot of shooting, a lot of explosions. It will kill you many times. If you're okay with that and you enjoy that kind of stuff, you enjoy being really bad at a game so you can get really good at a game, that's Nuclear Throne.
So my question about developing a roguelike, there are random elements and they're procedurally generated. Even as you play the game, after developing it, does it still surprise you? Do you still get these new runs where you're just completely surprised?
Yeah, or stuff where the community like teaches us stuff about the game that we didn't know. We have a character where you can dual wield, and somebody figured out that if you have a grenade launcher and a sledgehammer, if you shoot with that dual wield character and you shoot with both weapons at the same time, the sledgehammer will hit the grenade and launch it way further. We were like,
smart.
We had no idea. That was not our intent. We didn't try to make that. It just happened. That's the fun part of being a roguelike. Just lots of tiny little things that work together in super unexpected ways.
Yeah, I love roguelikes because they're very much arcadey. You can play it for a little bit, I have like a whole Steam library that's just roguelikes, and I'll just flick through it. One thing I really liked about Nuclear Throne is it kind of had this like early MTV punk metal like aesthetic. Can you talk about how that originated?
Well, a lot of how we make games is we really like starting with a feel, with sort of a place where we have like an aesthetic for the game. And for us, a lot of early Nuclear Throne was made in 2 days, while one of us had a massive fever. So we just pulled together all the like sort of 70s sci-fi anecdotes, stories, things together into this one game. So they're all like very sci-fi stereotypes, like a mutated fish, a crystal that came to life, a chicken that can get decapitated, a guy whose skin is literally melting off. So there's a lot of like movie sci-fi references. It's sort of, I can see why you would pick up on that aesthetic. It's definitely in there.
And so now that the game is done, it's out on PS4, you're here promoting it at PAX. Are new audiences still finding it? Are you testing out DLC? What is it like exhibiting a game once it's out?
It's really interesting. One of my favorite things about showcasing Nuclear Throne is just there's so much love for the game. The people that are good at it like really love sitting down and just showing their skills, showing strategies, talking to each other. So it's been like a really nice, very chill booth. It's fascinating. I love seeing people that love the game. It's what you make games for, right?
Well, yeah, also because I go to PAX all the time, and there might be a game in a small corner that I won't recognize, and then after the game is out, it's like, oh, I missed that. So that's why when I saw Nuclear Throne here, it was like, oh, shoot, I played that. I love it. The soundtrack is great. It has this kind of thrash metal, like, oh, it's awesome. Are you guys already working on a new project?
So at this point, we have some prototypes that we really like, but there's not the one where we say, like, hey, this is the one. So we're just kind of messing around a bit. We're having fun just playing around and just seeing what is interesting. We have one that I think will be cool, but it's just a bit too early. We don't want to rush anything. We're in a really good place, the studio, so we're just gonna play around, see what sticks.
That's awesome. And I have a question. Other than Nuclear Throne, what are some other roguelikes in general that you're a big fan of?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Spelunky.
Okay, yeah.
Like, there's no way around that one. It sort of defined the entire genre as new stuff. Enter the Gungeon is really fun.
Yep.
If you haven't played that one, I can absolutely recommend it. It has a lot of overlap with Nuclear Throne, but it's so different still. I mean, FTL is absolutely a roguelike. If you haven't played FTL, if you somehow missed FTL, you should really get on FTL. And there's a bunch of like newer space-related roguelikes that are also really fun.
Hyper Galaxy Z, or, like all this. Cool.
There's a whole bunch of good stuff. It's really fun to see that genre come back to life, but in such different ways that I'm just excited to see what else people can mix into that formula that we haven't thought of yet.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of it. My last question for you is, why are roguelikes so appealing? I mean, like, I love it, and it's got a definite dedicated fan base on Steam of people who love roguelikes. What is it about the genre, what defines the genre that you think really clicks with people?
I think a lot of people kind of miss that feeling of being bad at a video game, where you come into it and you're like, I have no idea. Back in the days, the games didn't come with manuals. They wouldn't hold your hand. They were just like, here's the world, here's the rules, figure it out. And then the joy of the game came from becoming a master at it.
Yeah.
Like really understanding how the systems work and interconnect. I think a lot of people miss that. I think a lot of younger players, newer players have never experienced that. And just the fact that you can play it in like 15, 20 minutes and have that, I don't think it's very surprising that those games work.
Yeah,
because they're the heart of what games are.
They're quick, they're satisfying. But yeah, I recommend Nuclear Throne. It's a great game. It's on PS4, Steam, Xbox One.
PlayStation Vita.
PlayStation Vita, there you go. It's all systems. All right, cool. Anything else you want to plug? Your studio, your Twitter, anything?
Yeah, if people want to stay in touch in what we're doing next, when we know what we're doing next, on Twitter, we're Vlambeer.
There you go. Cool. I'll promote it in the description. Thank you so much, Neighborhood Game Club at PAX. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Awesome.